If you enjoyed Too Hot for TV's recent look at the Coronation Street and Red Dwarf crossover Back to Earth, here are 5 more bizarre crossovers from different TV franchises. In 1957, I Love Lucy aired an episode entitled Lucy and Superman. In the story, Lucy Ricardo is determined to secure a special appearance by Superman, played by George Reeves, for her son Little Ricky's birthday party. When her husband Ricky refuses to help, Lucy decides to take matters into her own hands by entering a studio tour contest, hoping to meet Superman in person. Her plan works, but she insists on keeping it secret so she can surprise Ricky and the guests. The episode's most memorable scenes come from Lucy's chaotic attempts to impersonate Superman herself while waiting for the real one to arrive. Dressed in a homemade Superman costume, she tries to stage a dramatic entrance at the party, but gets stuck precariously on a ledge outside the apartment window, creating a tense yet comedic sequence. When the real Superman finally appears, he rescues Lucy in full view of the party guests, preserving her dignity while delivering the surprise that she wanted. The blend of slapstick comedy and superhero spectacle made the episode iconic, especially as it featured the real TV Superman rather than a parody. An unusual and exciting crossover moment for 1950s television audiences, perhaps setting the standard for crossovers to come. A 1965 episode of The Flintstones, Samantha, is notable for crossing over with Bewitched, bringing the magical world of Samantha Stevens into the prehistoric town of Bedrock. In the story, Samantha, along with her husband Darren, who is quickly taken away on business, arrive in Bedrock, where they encounter Fred and Wilma Flintstone. Samantha tries to blend in as an ordinary Stone Age woman on a camping trip, but her attempts at suppressing her witchcraft inevitably fail, leading to a series of comedic misunderstandings. Highlights include Samantha conjuring up a huge ferocious dinosaur and transforming a kitten into a roaring Tigersaurus to terrorise Fred and Barney, which Wilma and Betty completely miss. The crossover stands out for blending the live-action suburban 1960s sitcom humour with the animated prehistoric capers of the Flintstones, creating a unique and memorable television moment. Doctor Who Dimensions in Time was a 1993 crossover special created for the BBC's Children in Need telethon, celebrating 30 years of Doctor Who and landing the Doctor in Walford, the home of EastEnders. The story brings together all the surviving actors to play the role of the Doctor at the time, and sees the Doctors, along with many of their companions, face off against the Rani, who is attempting to manipulate time by trapping the Doctor in a time loop set across different eras. During the adventure, the Doctor encounters a whole host of monsters and a myriad of EastEnders characters, including Frank Butcher, the Mitchell brothers, Sharon Watts, and Pauline Fowler. The narrative itself is fast-paced and somewhat chaotic, reflecting its short runtime and charity purpose. The Doctor is repeatedly shifted through time zones, encountering familiar faces while trying to break the Rani's control. Although not widely regarded as a canonical or polished entry in the series, it remains a curiosity for fans due to its multi-Doctor format and unusual crossover concept. Dimensions in Time is often remembered more for its novelty, particularly being an early attempt to broadcast in 3D, than for its storytelling, but it still holds a place in the broader celebration of Doctor Who's legacy. The Scooby-Natural episode of Supernatural is a unique 2-part crossover between Supernatural and the animated series Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? In these episodes, the Winchesters are transported into the animated world of Mystery Inc., where they meet Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Fred, Daphne and Velma. Together, they work to stop a ghost that is on a killing spree. The idea originated from the showrunner's love of classic cartoons, particularly Scooby-Doo, and had gestated for nearly a decade, but it was co-writer Jeremy Adams' suggestion that finally made it happen, in part thanks to the rights to both shows being owned by Warner Brothers. The episode is full of memorable moments like Dean's hilarious dislike of Fred, his awkward crush on Daphne, and a race between the Impala and the Mystery Machine. While the episode plays with classic cartoon tropes, things take a darker turn when real violence and ghosts appear, causing the Scooby Gang to question their entire worldview and spiral into an existential crisis. Despite the chaos, including a tragic ghost backstory, the characters ultimately restore the familiar Scooby-Doo status quo, keeping the cartoon world intact while highlighting both the comedy and emotional depth of the crossover. In Season 7 of The X-Files, an episode titled X-Cops would see Mulder and Scully enter the world of the reality TV show Cops. The episode cleverly mimics the format and look of Cops, complete with handheld cameras, jumpy videotape footage, and the show's iconic Bad Boys theme, to present an X-Files case through the lens of the faux documentary crew. In the story, Mulder and Scully find themselves in Los Angeles pursuing reports of a mysterious creature, only to be filmed at every turn by a cops crew attached to the LAPD. The narrative plays with perspective. Mulder embraces the exposure and paranormal possibilities, while Scully is exasperated by the intrusion of the camera, all against the backdrop of unpredictable encounters with a shape-shifting entity that preys on fear. The meta crossover was the brainchild of writer Vince Gilligan, years before he went on to create Breaking Bad. He was a big fan of cops and had long pitched the concept to X-Files showrunner Chris Carter. Initially considered too goofy for the series' tone, the idea was finally given the green light as Season 7 neared its end, offering the show a chance to experiment and break format. To achieve authenticity, the production shot the episode on videotape rather than film, brought in actual cops crew and camera operators, and even used the trademark stylistic elements like on-camera interviews and raw, unpolished visuals. The bold departure from the show's usual cinematic style made X-Cops one of the most distinctive and talked about episodes, blending the paranormal procedural with gritty reality TV aesthetic, in a way that was both homage and satire. Love or loathe these crossovers, or are there any crossovers we've missed? Please comment below. Too Hot for TV is a fortnightly podcast looking at the expanded media of your favourite franchises. Look for Too Hot for TV in your regular podcatcher or on the YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe. Each week, I'm joined by a different guest to look at the expanded universe of a different franchise. And follow Too Hot, the number 4 TV pod on Instagram, TikTok or YouTube.